Windsor Castle, a symbol of enduring power and royal tradition, has stood as the backbone of the British monarchy for centuries. Within these ancient walls, the world's most famous royal family has navigated triumph and scandal, joy and heartbreak. But what if I told you that within this fortress of history, something occurred that no one saw coming? A single, seemingly innocent moment that would rock the very foundation of the royal family and send shockwaves through the monarchy, forever altering the course of royal affairs. It was a day like any other, at least, on the surface. The grand halls of Windsor were brimming with dignitaries and glittering guests, all gathered to witness a royal event. Yet, as Queen Camilla entered the room, regal as always, her poise and elegance commanded every eye in the space. But in the midst of the pomp and circumstance, something unusual happened, something that no one could have predicted. A moment involving the youngest royal, Prince Louis, which would alter the royal dynamics in ways unimaginable. The atmosphere in Windsor Castle was buzzing with excitement, guests exchanged polite conversation, and waiters moved gracefully through the crowd offering champagne. Queen Camilla walked through the crowd, as the Queen Consort, her elegance an unspoken beacon of authority. The crowd watched in reverent silence, as the woman, who had seamlessly integrated into the royal family, made her way across the room. No one could have anticipated the dramatic shift that was about to take place. Prince Louis, usually a happy-go-lucky child, stood among the adults, his tiny figure barely noticeable. For a moment, it seemed as though he would simply smile and wave, the usual childlike charm that would have been expected of him. But this time, something was different. Louis, who had always been known for his mischievous grin and bright energy, was visibly tense. As the Queen Consort made her way closer, Louis suddenly stepped forward, his gaze fixed ahead. He cut through the crowd, avoiding eye contact with his family, as though walking toward an inevitable collision with destiny. And then, it happened. Louis approached Queen Camilla with a sense of purpose. His small stature made him seem insignificant, but the weight of his actions could not have been more profound. What followed was a moment that would go down in royal history. Louis, not shy or playful, turned his back on the Queen Consort. It wasn't a simple act of ignoring her, it was as if, in that brief, fleeting moment, he rejected her entirely. There was no greeting, no smile, just a cold shoulder that spoke volumes. The room held its collective breath as the silence stretched on, thick with tension. What could have caused such an unexpected act of defiance from a child? Was it a harmless display of youthful rebellion, or was it a deeper, more significant message sent to the royal family? The shocked faces in the room were quickly replaced by whispers, growing louder by the second. In that split moment, Prince Louis' actions would shake the foundations of the royal family, igniting a firestorm of rumors and speculation. While the guests may have tried to brush off the incident as an innocent child's antics, those who truly understood the inner workings of the royal family knew better. This incident, though seemingly small, was a reflection of a much deeper and more complex struggle for power within the monarchy. For years, Queen Camilla had quietly but steadily gained influence within the royal household. Her poise, her unwavering support for King Charles, and her ability to command attention had made her an undeniable force within the royal family. Yet, in the shadows of Windsor, tensions had been brewing. Prince William, now the heir to the throne, had always been more modern in his thinking. His concerns about the direction of the monarchy, especially in light of growing public scrutiny, had put him at odds with the more traditional aspects of royal life. And while King Charles had tried to maintain unity, it was becoming increasingly clear that the monarchy was divided between the old ways, symbolized by Camilla, and the new vision, represented by William and his children. In this context, Louis' actions took on a far more sinister meaning. For those in the know, this wasn't just a child throwing a tantrum, it was an act of defiance that could have ripple effects for years to come. Was Louis rejecting the outdated traditions that had defined the monarchy for centuries? Was his subtle rebellion the sign of a new generation, one that would no longer stand in the shadow of the past? Rumors swirled in the days that followed. Was this the first sign of a growing rift between Camilla and the younger royals? Could this moment signify a seismic shift in the royal power structure? No one could say for certain, but whispers of a royal divide spread faster than anyone could have predicted. What many people didn't know, however, was that this incident was not an isolated event. It was the culmination of months, perhaps even years, of simmering tension within the royal family. Prince William and Queen Camilla had been in a subtle, but increasingly hostile battle for control over the future of the monarchy. Their relationship, once seemingly cordial, had grown strained. While Camilla had supported her husband, King Charles, with unwavering loyalty, Prince William had been advocating for a more modern, accessible monarchy, one that aligned with his vision of the future. The cracks had started to show months before this incident. There had been private disagreements over royal engagements, the handling of public affairs, and the involvement of the younger generation in the monarchy's day-to-day operations. Prince William had begun to voice his concerns more openly, questioning whether the monarchy could continue to operate in the same rigid manner it had for centuries. Camilla, on the other hand, remained steadfast in her belief that tradition was the key to the monarchy's survival. But it was the issue of Louis, his defiance, his unpredictable behavior, that revealed the full extent of the tension. As a royal child, Louis was expected to follow the strict rules set by the family. But his small act of rebellion was a direct challenge to everything Camilla represented, a rejection of tradition, a rejection of the order she had so carefully upheld. So, what does this incident mean for the future of the royal family? As Louis' small act of defiance echoed through the halls of Windsor, it was clear that the monarchy was at a crossroads. Was this a sign that the younger generation was ready to break free from the shackles of tradition and carve out their own path? Could Prince Louis, in his own small way, be heralding a new era for the royal family, one where the old rules no longer applied, and the monarchy would have to evolve to survive? As the whispers of a royal rift grew louder, the question on everyone's mind was, what happens next? Would Camilla, with her years of experience and powerful influence, manage to reassert control over the situation? Or would Prince William and his children push forward with their vision for a modern monarchy, one that embraces change and progress? The stakes could not have been higher. The future of the British monarchy was on the line, and the role of each family member, especially the younger generation, would be pivotal in determining its course. As for Prince Louis, his actions may have been small, but they represented a symbolic challenge to everything the royal family had stood for. Whether this was the beginning of a revolution within the monarchy, or just a fleeting moment of youthful rebellion, was yet to be seen. But one thing was for sure, Windsor Castle would never be the same. In the days and weeks that followed, the tension within the royal family would only intensify. Whether the monarchy would adapt to the changing times, or continue to cling to its centuries-old traditions, would depend on how each royal member navigated these turbulent waters. And at the center of it all, Prince Louis, the child who, in a single, seemingly innocuous act, may have begun the process of reshaping the royal family for the future. The monarchy, once seemingly invincible, was now facing a defining moment. The world would be watching, waiting to see whether the royal family could weather this storm, or whether it would be torn apart by the forces of tradition and modernity. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the winds of change were blowing through Windsor Castle.